Hi guys and welcome to Simply Scuba. This is Weird Wednesday. So let's jump straight into the news. The sea of plastic. So a jaw-dropping image taken by an island off the coast of Honduras has shocked people from around the world. The photos taken by Caroline Powers shows the once blue waters hidden under a layer of rubbish. A blanket of plastic as far as the eye can see, with just litter all over the waters, and it's kind of shocking because there is.
The images are really shocking.
There's supposed to be this like sort of island of trash in the Pacific that's just kind of the size of Texas or something ridiculous, but because it's out in the middle of nowhere, no one sees it.
Yeah.
So now that it's come to sort of Honduras and sort of more in the public eye, it's kind of bringing it much more real, so people are seeing it. So plastic bottles, disposable knives and forks and other filth can be seen in the images, and Powers wrote that this has to stop basically. Think about the plastic that you use in your everyday lives. John Houston of the Blue Planet Society said it was the worst example of plastic pollution that he has ever seen. It's
Yeah, it's incredibly shocking. The images are. It is really hard to believe.
Yeah, anything. I mean, it happens. You're on a boat and something just gets sort of whisked out of your hand. You think, oh, darn it. But actually, that doesn't really go anywhere. It ends up congregating with more plastic. Sort of marine life sees it, thinks it's food, and they end up eating it.
Yeah, I've also heard that obviously the plastic gets, digested by plankton. Then the fish eat the plankton, then obviously the fish get plastic in their stomach.
Yeah, it works its way up the food chain, and then onto the fish counter at Tesco's.
Yeah, and into our stomachs.
So it's believed that the trash was washed into the ocean from nearby Guatemala. See why you gave me this story. Due to the recent rainy season. It's believed that 90% of seabirds have digested some sort of the plastic products, as well as millions of fish eating them. And something has to be done to better protect our oceans. There are lots of ways. I mean, ghost gear is completely different. There are lots of things going into ghost gear. I've seen one kid, he's like 18 years old, and he's already set to be like a billionaire because he just created this. It's basically a funnel that sits just under the surface with two great big arms, and it just collects like floating rubbish.
Has that been improved yet?
I don't know the latest on that, but you're like, oh, genius, simple idea, and yeah, he's like a teenager and he's like worth $1 billion or something.
I was playing video games.
Yeah.
Now it's time for our next story. New friendly shark nets. Sharks are often demonized by beachgoers who can't go surfing or swimming in the water because there may be sharks in the water, and local authorities are pressured to keep the water safe. Flashback to Jaws. So they install shark nets and other mechanisms to try to physically keep sharks away. But just like ghost gear, they often kill other marine life unintentionally.
Yeah, so basically if you put a great big net that's permanently up, of course it's going to catch things. So yeah, they need to think of something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of which, in come SharkSafe, who claim to have created a 100% successful and safe barrier to separate sharks and beaches by keeping fur seals hiding in kelp forests from sharks and evidence that sharks avoid powerful magnets. They have designed and tested an artificial kelp forest barrier. The barrier consists of buoyant, loose chains that are anchored to the seabed with magnets built into them that pose very little threat to marine life, and boats can even sail through them. Pretty incredible.
It's cool. It's basically, if you imagine like chains hanging from a ceiling, but upside down, so now they float.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. So marine life can swim through it. Because sharks don't like powerful magnets, they kind of swim up to it and they're like, no, and just swim away. And a boat along the surface can just go in between them.
Yeah,
it's genius.
The design has been tested off South Africa and the Bahamas, which kept every one of the 84 white and 41 bull sharks observed away from baited waters and created an elegant solution merging science with nature.
Yeah, so basically they just took a great big bait ball and surrounded it by their like barrier thing, So lots of stinky fish.
That's a tease, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the sharks are like, oh, and no, and not one of them. Great white sharks and bull sharks, they're like, no, and they just swim away.
Wow, that's incredible.
So if you can just create that and just barrier off a bay, that keeps the surfers safe, the swimmers safe. The only downside I can see is if a shark is, I don't know, too focused and manages to get through, then it's kind of trapped inside. So now on to some lighter news. Since November 2013, a young beluga whale has been living with a pod of dolphins in Crimea. She settled in really quickly with her new family and sort of now counts herself as an honorary dolphin. The beluga is starting to sort of imitate the unique dolphin whistle and even stop making a beluga call completely. It's just
pretty incredible.
Yeah, blending in.
Yeah.
The bottlenose dolphins weren't quite sure what to make of their new pool mate at first, but eventually started accepting her into the group. A calf born in August last year quickly bonded with the beluga and regularly swam side by side. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Yeah. You get put into a new group, you don't speak the same language, then eventually you start to learn a few phrases and then you sort of get friendly and yeah, that's cool. So belugas have a very special skill of imitating other animals, including humans apparently. As one captured beluga intimidated... Autocorrect. Imitated human speech. Rolling someone to dive in the tank.
I think that's meant to be causing someone to dive in the tank. I don't know how I got that.
Autocorrect is great, guys. We need to proofread stuff.
I have listened to that though, and it actually does sound like a man speaks underwater. It's pretty incredible.
That's kind of creepy though. So a researcher named Panova said that this may cause or this case may be an interesting example of interspecies communication.
Yeah,
and it is. Yeah, I mean they are proven to be sort of really, really intelligent. And I read somewhere that if dolphins had opposable thumbs, they'd like compete with us.
Yep. Simpsons did it. Uh-oh.
That's quite worrying.
Can marijuana help fish relax? Is an age-old question mark that we have all pondered for years. Can giving cannabis to a fish actually help them relax? Well, we finally have the answer. Okay, you ready? So scientists in Lebanon, is that how you pronounce it?
Lebanon,
recently published a study on this very topic.
Thanks, scientists.
They administrated doses of cannabis oil to Nile tilapia.
Good man.
To see if that would help relax them and see if they perhaps grow a little larger. Their findings have finally concluded that no, weed doesn't help fish relax. There is no difference in behavior apart from the fact that they got the munchies and started to enjoy reggae.
Yeah, the whole story, there was like a legitimate reason behind the story. Because these fish are farmed, they want to be able to farm them in like smaller pens and like harder, so they were in quite a poor conditions, and they want them to chill so that they grow larger. They actually found that they grew a resistance to the cannabis, and their metabolisms did speed up, but of course it would cost the farmers much more food, so they're like, nah. So it was kind of a colossal waste of time.
At least it give the farmers an excuse to buy it.
I've got all this cannabis oil. What am I going to do with it now?
The study ended with, until further research yields different results, we do not believe fish should be given reefer.
Because it needed to be said.
Yeah.
Okay guys, have you checked out our latest video, 8 Things Some Scuba Divers Do Wrong? It was released on Friday and it's been very popular. We talk about some things that a few may do wrong, but in a funny way. So if you haven't seen it or you'd like to watch it again, then you can check out the link in the description below.
Underwater pyramids.
Yeah.
Online conspiracy theorists, secure team, 2010 and Scott Waring have discovered a pair of submerged pyramids that they believe are proof that ancient civilizations once inhabited the islands and built monumental pyramids. Thought to be built by Mayan or Aztec-like civilizations up to 50 to 100 million years ago.
This is where I lost the story.
I thought Homo sapiens have only been on this planet for 200,000 years.
Yeah, they're conspiracy theorists, so they're like, oh, it could be 100 million years old. Yeah, it's not.
They think it's aliens.
No,
don't think it's aliens.
No,
Wow.
they specifically think it's not aliens.
Oh, okay.
They think it was something to do before the previous ice age, that there was like this wonderful like civilizations, and they built these pyramids. And of course, since all the ice melted, it's just flooded.
Of course. The two theorize a huge backstory to what seems to be a pair of regular shaped rocks.
Yeah.
All of their theories have come from just one Google Earth image, and that is all the evidence they need to prove that these are pyramids. By their calculations, one of the pyramids is 60 meters tall, lying in water that is 6 to 24 meters deep, about 7 kilometers south of Nassau, that nobody has ever noticed.
It's crazy, because you look at the NOAA charts for the area, and like almost exactly where this pyramid is, it's got a depth rating of like 6 meters. And they're like, this pyramid, and they're like drawing lines on the like Google image, and they're like, oh, we work out it's 60 meters tall. How?
While listening to them try to justify the proof that these pyramids are legit, it's funny enough, but the viewer comments below are gold, with people offering to go check it out, and others saying that if they let you, only if they let you announce a discovery to the public. Who are they, Mark?
So basically, if you're diving south of Nassau, and you're diving in the area, you'll come out and there will just be men in black.
Okay.
And they'll just arrest you. That's why
how the government works. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, this guy, he's just trawling Google Earth and just kind of looking around. And he saw 2 triangles, and he's like, yeah, they look like pyramids.
Yeah.
And yeah. A glowing shark. So researchers have discovered a shark that glows in the dark. This bioluminescent miniature shark weighs less than a kilogram and is only 30 centimeters long. It was found off the coast of the northwestern Hawaiian Islands in the Pacific Ocean. Apparently they live 300 meters down in pitch black, which explains why they need to glow in the dark, so they can see
where they
one
go.
another. There are 450 known species of shark to date, so it's incredible to discover a new species, particularly that far down. So who knows how many more sharks are out there that we just don't know about. They just tend to hide.
Yeah, isn't 95% of our oceans unexplored?
Pretty much. There's a lot of empty space that just no one goes to, except James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah, this only goes to show our vast and diverse oceans. There's a lot down there that no one ever knows. There was some statistic that every time they go down below a certain depth, they discover 10 extra species, which is
amazing.
Cool. Yeah. There are a few other news stories that we didn't cover in this. There was one of a poor guy that almost died by kissing a fish.
What's the story behind that?
So basically, he was a fisherman in Dorset, and he caught a Dover sole that was like 14 centimeters long, tiny little thing. And he's been watching this Australian fisherman, and every time he catches a fish, before he throws it back, he kisses it. So of course this guy...
Why does he do that?
Because he's Australian.
Right.
So this poor guy, he went to kiss the fish, but he says like a slippery bar of soap, it kind of slipped out of his hand and just went straight in his mouth. And
that's the story he gives.
Some people think that it was like the fish trying to find a dark space to hide in, so it just kind of went in and then kind of went as far as possible, cut off his air supply. He ran around for a little bit, couldn't breathe, passed out, His friends had to call an ambulance. They're performing CPR. Ambulance comes and manages to get the fish out, administers oxygen, and he made a full recovery. But it's like, whoa. A 14 centimetre Dover sole, and yeah, it just jammed its way down his throat until he couldn't breathe. That sucks. Anyway, that's it for this week's news. If you've got any news stories, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and safe diving.
Bye.